Mira, le podrían hacer un espacio a las damas. Están ahí los caballeros como que una fuera.
I'm good. Thank you. Sí, gracias.
Las damas tienen el poder.
Gracias. Yeah, we're good.
Está por ahí, está eso. Bueno, comencemos, apagamos teléfonos. Ya.
Una pregunta, ¿tiene alguien aquí o el micrófono lo movemos?
Lo mueven entre ustedes, por eso es que está puesto de esa manera, ¿no? Si quiere, vamos a ponerlo. Exacto.
Yo creo que nos podemos echar para adelante, ¿no? ¿Tú no crees que nos podemos echar un poquito para adelante?
Ustedes pónganse cómodos como ustedes
Es que me pienso que
entiendan.
estoy contra la pared.
Bueno, buenas noches a todos. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Ángel Sepúlveda, Communications Director of Alianza for Progress and Alianza, former news director for Univision Orlando and Tampa, but now I came into the community side of the business. I work with an amazing team at Alianza, led by Mr. Marcos Vilar, who is not moderating today, but he's giving me a lot of pressure, looking at me from back there like, don't mess this up. I'm giving you an opportunity. Don't mess it up. So it is so good. But first and foremost, I wanna thank Florida Technical College for hosting us tonight, the night last week, the week before, and next week we'll be in Orange County, and we have Martin Levert, the executive director of this campus, that is gonna give us the welcome.
All right. Is this working? It is. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Martin Levert. Welcome back. For those of you who came a few weeks ago and they're going to come to the future events that we have here with Alianza. A little bit of information about Florida Technical College, if you did not know, which I think is important because it goes along with a lot of the platforms that the candidates are talking about, which is education for Osceola County, right? This campus is the largest technical college in the state of Florida, and it's right here in Osceola County. We have over 1,400 students. We have 24 programs, and we're the only college in the state of Florida that offers programs 100% in Spanish. Okay, for us, that's really important because here in Osceola, we know it's the only county in the state that over 50% of the residents are officially Hispanic. So for us to be able to provide a post-secondary education to adults that can learn in Spanish and then go to work in Spanish is really important for our community and a really big part of what we do here at FTC. So again, I want to say thank you for everyone who's come out, who supports what we do. Alianza has been a great partner. I wish nothing but the best of luck to all the candidates here tonight. And again, mi casa, su casa.
Yes, sir. All right. As you know, you guys know Alianza, but before I get to that, I'm going to look at the camera and I'm going to say something. There is an 85-year-old lady right now with her laptop watching this forum because her baby is moderating tonight. So, mami, bendición y se me va a dormir temprano. Okay? So as you all know, Alianza has been here for quite some time, and we cater to Latino causes, Puerto Rican causes here on from a civic standpoint, from a political standpoint. But the bottom line is that we got to cater to our community and make sure that they get all the information that they need, especially in this political season. So I thank you for being here tonight. We have to make sure that the people understand, and I get this question a lot. What is the difference in between a forum and a debate? There is a difference. A forum, it is a platform where candidates such as yourself, they talk about forum, specifically things about their platform. On a debate, they debate each other on their positions and political. So this is a forum where we are going to discuss a few topics, and they're going to let us know exactly what is it that they intend to do should they win District 46 now in this coming elections. No, and some of you on the primaries. But before we get to the good part, now we are living on this a political turmoil on a national level. Okay, this a question is for every one of you, and I'm going to start with the lady, of course. So, should you win the seat of District 47?
46.
The 46, I'm sorry, 46. We did a 47 last week. We have done so many, right? But it's all good. For 46, would you consider having any one of these gentlemen on your cabinet if you win? Yes or no?
Of course, why not?
Okay.
Yes.
Mike, would you consider any one of the candidates sitting to serve with you should you win the election?
It all depends on the qualification. If they're qualified, why not?
Okay. Okay. Dr. Ivan, would you?
Yeah, for me, good evening to all of you. It's an honor to be here with my friends because all of us in this table, we're trying to help the community. That's why we're here. So we have to appreciate that Alianza and also Florida Technical College let us be here. So you can know.
Well,
what
we'll
we
get
wanna
to that,
do.
Doctor. We'll get to that. It was just a general question. Mr. Alvarez, would you consider anyone in this table to
I
serve
think
with
it's
you?
very important. So it's qualifications, as a state rep, you have in your district,
Mhm.
they give you, the state provides two people to represent you here in the district to work with the district. And then in Tallahassee, we get the legislator aid. And so we get several personnel. And so if people apply through the state, because they have to apply through the state.
Of course.
So the representative doesn't hire. They have to go through HR in the state and the qualifications to put them in office.
All right, but you would consider if
If they were
right
qualified and they
information
go
is there.
through the system, of
okay,
course.
so it is a
Yeah.
yes for all of them. So everybody is willing to walk that extra mile should they win. Now, let me explain to you exactly how this is going to work. You each are going to have 2 minutes for opening statements, 2 minutes for closing statements, and 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer the questions that we are going to give. Diana, this lovely lady here in green, is gonna let you know exactly how much time you have left, and when your time is up. And please, again, let's respect each other. Let's respect opinions, and we're also going to talk to the people online. This has been simultaneously live stream in YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. All of those. So together, and I want to welcome also the members of the media that are here tonight that have been also following this Osceola Star. You guys are Telemundo has been here, Spectrum News 13, WFTV, and other media partners that have been covering this forum. So having said that, let's just start with the opening statements. Okay, let's start that way all the way to Mr. Alvarez. So please, opening statement, 2 minutes on the clock, please.
Hi, good evening to everyone. Thank you, Alianza and Florida Technical. My name is Jacqueline Centeno, and I am your candidate for Florida House District 46. I have been in Florida since 1996, and I have been an educator for 28 years. That is my profession. I have 4 adult children and 4 almost adult grandsons. I'm running for the seat because I believe as an educator that we've seen very drastic changes in the laws for education and the attack on public education. I also believe that we have a massive attack on women's reproductive rights and our environment. There's a lot of issues that we can solve. And I think in order to be able to put your 2 cents in, you have to step up. We need to be able to stop complaining at home and sitting around doing nothing and being able to get into these types of positions to be able to make that difference that you desire, because we cannot just sit at home. I think it's important for all of us to get involved in our community. As an active member of my community, I think that I have proven that I can give back, that I know the issues that affect us locally, and that we can bring it to a different level to make sure that our communities are safer, that our public education is saved, and that we have environmental causes and issues that we can protect our wetlands in our state. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we continue, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention we have 2 candidates that called that they wouldn't be able to be here tonight, and that is Christian de la Torre and Robert Lewayne for personal reasons, and but Ms. Alvarez hasn't showed up. So if she does, then she will join us when she gets here, unless she has called, but we haven't gotten word from her. So with that said, Michael Cruz, please let us know your opening statement.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Cruz. I've been a resident here for 23 years in Osceola County. I come from Puerto Rico, originally from New York, from Brooklyn. So if we have anybody from New York here, let's say hi.
Yes.
Yep, that goes. So the reason I'm running for this position, it's not just because I want to be, into the politics, because I am not a politician. I'm a businessman. We have our business in the state of here in Osceola County. Very successful business. I have homes. We work, for our living. So it's not about being a politician full time for the next 25, 30 years. I want to just work, do what we can, get accomplished what we want to get accomplished in our tenure, and then after that, have somebody else come over and just keep taking along with it. So, and we have a lot of issues, and we know we have to cover them. We have the issues with the HOAs, the homeowner associations. I want to work with that. The homeowners insurance that we need to work with. The elderly is paying insurances that they can't be paying right now. They're losing their homes. So there's a lot of issues aside with the traffics and everything we're going around. Okay. And one important aspect is with Duke University and everything that's going around right now with the universities. The education is very important, and we have a lot of issues with the education with the kids that are foster children. So we're trying to work with that also. We need to work with them children. Once they get out of the foster program, they're homeless because they don't have nothing. They don't know how to do anything. So those are the problems that we want to work with, that we want to address once we're up there in Tallahassee. Plus everything else that we have in the county. We know we have a lot of issues, a lot of issues, and we need to address those. But there are a lot of issues that are more important sometimes than the other, and it's our economy, and so all of that together. We want to work with that. And my name is Michael Cruz, and they call me the People's Candidate.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Dr. Ivan?
Yes, I already say hello to all of you. Okay, I've been living in the county of Osceola for approximately 17 years. We moved here after I finished my career like a physician in the government. Then I opened Ponciana Medical Clinic. It's been established as medical office. It's been established in the last 13 years. So I've been serving, especially that community, for 13 years. And part of the things that we have to do in Tallahassee, because it's very important that when you go to the House of Representatives or to the House of the Senate, you have to know what's going on, what is the environment that we're going to find up there. There is a lot of people that they go up there, but they don't have the experience, they don't have the expertise to be there. And that's part of the problems that we have in here, not only the state of Florida, we have that in the whole state. So we have to start thinking that when you go to Tallahassee, you have to file, you have to look for a way that we can help our community. Like a physician, evidently, like a physician, I will help, especially in the House of Representatives, because there is no physicians in the House of Representatives. Besides that, like my company has mentioned about education, I've been a professor of the University of Puerto Rico for a long time also, so I know exactly what is the problem that we have in the community, that most of the people that they are in high school, after 12 years of work doing the job there, they only giving a certificate. They don't give a diploma. That's very dangerous also for our kids to get a job. Besides that, security. I worked for the Department of Justice before in Florida when I was living in Miami. Besides that, I retired from the Department of Corrections, so like a physician in the state of Florida. So I know a little bit about security also. Thank you. I'm a realtor also.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Jose Alvarez. I'm a candidate for House District 46. Maybe talking about myself, which probably a lot of you know way too much about me. I want to congratulate FTC. I haven't been here in a while. Back in 2014, myself and my former economic development director are the ones that worked with FTC to bring them here to Kissimmee. And it's been an unbelievable job that they've done, and the benefit that our community has gotten because of that. So apart from that, I'm running for House District 46. I'm the former mayor of the city of Kissimmee. my record speaks for itself. It was economic development growth, everything that had to do to improve the life of the people in our community. I was the first Hispanic mayor to be elected in this city. And we got in the ground working. You know, I was a city commissioner prior to that. I'm a real estate broker by trade for over 25 years and a past president of the Osceola County Association of Realtors. For over 20 years, I fought with in Tallahassee for property rights and clean waters with Florida Realtors. Then they're the ones that asked me to run for office, became a city commissioner 2012, did the work that we needed to do to improve our city. Then after that, I ran as mayor in 2016, completed the work that I had to do, and really we put Kissimmee on the map. We have an airport in Kissimmee that right now is considered a national municipal airport because of the growth of jobs and money and funding that has brought into our community. I was the one that negotiated in Kissimmee to bring Metro Rail into the area. We moved links that used to be parked here at this mall, and we moved them right where we have Sunrail right now coming in. And so that's another thing that we accomplished. We accomplished and completed that beautiful lakefront park that everyone is enjoying, but actually has brought in new developers that want to grow here in Kissimmee and create jobs. And, you know, just very proud to continue to work for my community. After my service as a city mayor, I was appointed by the Biden-Harris administration as the HUD regional administrator for Region 4. I was responsible for 10 states, over 800 housing authorities. Florida was one of them, was Kissimmee to Florida, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. And very proud to bring many billions of dollars here into our area in Florida. And looking forward to continue to serve our community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alvarez, and thanks to all of you. Now, let's get started with the line of questionings. Again, you have 1 minute 30 to answer each question. And again, we are live streaming online. So if anybody online has a question after each of the topic, make sure that you write it on comments. And we have people here that are monitoring the social media. So let's start with resilience, climate change, and sustainability. Okay. What are your thoughts on the current impacts of climate change in Osceola County, and how will you address these challenges as a state representative? And we'll start with Mr. Alvarez this time.
You know, no matter what the other side of the aisle says about climate change, guys, we do have a problem with climate change, and we see it every time we go outside of the door, right? So what do we have to do? I was already part of doing that work when I was a mayor of this city. As a mayor, in partnership with our utility company and 12 other utility companies, we created the large solar farm in the state of Florida. And when I did that, and we started offering those services at no cost to the pay rates of KUA, what I did is I asked the commission, and we passed where we put all our city facilities under solar power. So they've been doing that since 2020, very successful. We need to continue to make sure that we clean our lakes and we clean our environment and stay on top of it, and make sure that the policies that need to be changed, and to make sure that those that believe that climate change doesn't exist, they need to realize that it does affect us, but we're not gonna see the complete effect ourselves. Our children and their children are the ones that are gonna see. So it's who has the background and experience that can actually get to Tallahassee and get to work on the issues because they've done it before. Tallahassee is not a place to go and learn how to do the work. Tallahassee, you have to get there and really get to go and do the work since you get there, because you got 2 years. Then guess what? You got to run for office again. And in 2 years, you're not going to learn how to do the work in Tallahassee.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Dr. Ivan, same question. What are your thoughts on the current impacts of climate change in Osceola County, and how will you address it should you win the election?
Yes, I believe that's very simple. We have to force our senators, our House of Representatives, to be accountable for what they are not doing. If we continue sending to Tallahassee people that they don't know the procedures, then they have the problem. They have the problem that we're facing right now. 2 years is enough time, to the best of my knowledge, to make enough laws to change everything. But that depends if you have the communication, the right communication with the other senators and with the other House of Representatives. Because if we have a community that is needing some kind of things, we cannot go there and say, begging for something. No, we deserve to change what is not working in this community. And we have to be clear that somebody has to take care. It's not a matter that I only have 2 years or I have 3 years or what. No. It's a matter that you have to go up there and say, no, this is wrong for my community. I represent the community and I'm going to be fighting so we can approve these bills. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Again, what are your thoughts on the current impacts of climate change in Osceola County, and how will you address it should you win the election?
Well, climate change is a reality. We're all seeing it right now. It's 101 degrees out there. But we need to understand and work together with people like the KUA and Toho and the EPA, which is Environmental Protection, whatever they do. And whatever they do, they have to work with us together so we can find a solution. Okay, and one of the solutions is the deforestation. They're knocking down trees in every corner here to keep building and building and building. And don't get me wrong, I own a real estate company in Central Florida. We are realtors. And it's great to have builders, but they keep knocking out the trees that we have left and not going solar. We need to go solar. We need to have the renewable energy, and that's very important. And we have to get that out there and go to Tallahassee and let them know. Now, not just Osceola County or District 46. I mean, the whole state, and better yet, the whole nation has to go to renewable energy and work together with the solar. That's the way to go.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline.
Hi, I have three things. First, that yes, we need to have solar energy. We have a lot of right-of-way highways here that we can use for farming solar energy. Another thing that we need to stop is the ban on oil and gas offshore drilling, because it's causing to pollute our waters heavily, and it's causing algae blooms, which in turn is like a ripple effect. It's killing our seagrass, therefore is affecting all our manatees and killing because there's no food for them. Another thing that I think that we need to do is make sure that we have legislative laws that we can use recycling and teaching our children and our new generation how to recycle and what's appropriate to keep our city clean and our water clean. I think that, a good legislative law that I would sponsor would be for all school boards in the state of Florida to have mandated recycling in K-5 education at all levels, whether it's charters or private, but that, our kids are learning how to protect our environment by by knowing what is it that recycling does to our waterways, to our air, and that we have nowhere to put all this recycling, especially single plastics.
Thank you so much for this round of questions. Is there any question in the audience about climate change, resilience, and sustainability? Not here, not online. Okay, so we'll continue to our next topic, which is civic engagement and voter registration. No? In each of the latest legislative sessions, laws are making it harder for third-party registration groups, such as Alianza Center, to register voters in our community. Okay, do you support making it easier or harder for voters to register to vote? Yes or no? And we're going to start now with Mr. Cruz.
Yes, we were looking at some developments that were going on with the voter registration. I do believe in the voter registration. They should have an easier way to have the people to register to vote. I also think that you should have people be able to vote with their license. They have a driver's license. If they're legal to drive here, that means they're legal to be here. If they're citizens of where we're at, yes, they could go even the same day. They have to go and vote and say, look, I'm here to vote. This is my district, blah, 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 and vote. Yes, I am 100% about that. And I would encourage people to follow that up too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ivan. I call him Dr. Ivan, but it's just like I've known him for so long.
Exactly.
So I apologize if that is offensive.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really very interesting one. All of the comments that I believe that have been in this table in this afternoon, because we come from different countries with different way of voting. But in Osceola County, we have a big problem because, we have to encourage people to go to vote, but we have to educate people that if you have a supervisor of election, that she stay in the position like a supervisor of election, and she's a candidate. Besides that, she included in that ballot also the son of the supervisor of election, and 2 years ago include also the daughter-in-law. So we have to see what's going on in the election procedures in a democratic country like this one, that we allow that. That's why Dr. Rivera is an MPA. I'm not affiliated to any of the political parties. I believe that this is unacceptable, that in a country like the United States, we have people that they maneuver the election when they are candidates. That's my opinion about this.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Alvarez?
You know, I want to make it very easy. I was not born in a country that they allowed you to vote. I was born in a communist country that didn't give you the right to vote. And so when anybody asks me if people should have the right to vote, what do you think my answer is going to be? Right? We used to live under a dictatorship that did not allow you to vote, and you didn't have that right. And so in this great country of ours that gave us that opportunity, we should have that right for people to register to vote. We should have the right for organizations, especially like Alianza, that is well registered and is able to do the work and is able to do it the correct way, to continue to go and register our voters and educate them in the right direction. And that is the problem that we have, that there's certain people in our own government that do not want us to register to vote. They take advantage that we are Latinos, Hispanic, whatever we want to call us, and they take advantage of that because they know that if we unite, we are the majority of the voters. So they try to keep us separated. So as a Cuban immigrant, I tell you that I will fight and continue to push for legislation that will allow for registration to be possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But now my news director roots are emerging right now, and I'm going to do a follow-up question, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to answer. 1 minute on this
Can
one.
I answer first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Please.
Sorry.
No. Mujeres en el poder, empoderadas siempre.
Mujeres al
Yes.
poder. That's why you
No,
guys sat me in the
you're going to
corner.
get extra cookies for that.
Thank you.
I apologize
Yes,
for that.
obviously,
I
yes,
apologize.
I'm all for people voting. I think that's a legitimate right we have as U.S. citizens. When you come to this country and you go through the process of becoming a citizen for this country, those are you who come from other places, right? So I think that that's a thing to do. I think that exercises our power to say what we feel in terms of anything that's going on in politics or in our community. And I also believe that we should have the right at the same day of elections to register to vote that same instance if we have the appropriate documentation to do so.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I apologize again for not going to you. But then on that topic, it's still that we need laws to better serve our community when it comes to voting. Still, the turnout for Latino voters is really low. What would you do? What would you tell the Latino voters to get them engaged and get them to vote, whether it is early elections, whether it is on any way, shape, or form? What would you tell the Latino community that is so important for them to go out and vote? And let's start with you now that I left you out the last time. So
Thank you.
I'll start with you. 1 minute.
I think that one of the things that is important for us to do is to have alliances with different organizations that represent the Latinos in our area or across the state, to be able to inform our Latino communities of what their rights are. I think that because we are not informed enough, we need to make alliances with the media, with the social media and TV media that represents us, to make sure that they're educating our communities on what their rights are in terms of voting and why it's important and how it's affecting them. Because I think that a misinformed community keeps us shut, keep us alienated, and keep us away. I think that the more we put out the word that are announced, because whatever happens is going to impact you personally, I think that's the key to making sure that our people come out to vote.
Thank you. Mr. Michael Cruz?
Yes, the first thing we need to do is make sure that the elections committee, and at least in our district in Osceola County, does their job, do their job. They have to educate the people. They have to put out communications, which they don't do that. They have to put out communications encouraging the people to go out and vote. I always encourage people to go out and vote. It doesn't matter what party you're going to vote for. At this end of the game, it doesn't matter the party. Bless you, ma'am. It doesn't matter the party. Just go out. You have a right to vote. If you're a citizen, you have a right to vote. So I think that we have to educate them and tell them, listen, look at the candidates. Make sure the candidates are the correct ones that you want to go. Make sure you don't have somebody who's a career politician that just the same people all the time, running and try to. No, you don't need career politicians up there. Learn how to vote. Learn who your candidates are, and just vote. Go vote.
Dr. Rivera, same question.
Yeah, I believe it's very important. Education, voters' education is extremely important. But we have the experience of 2020 that we have 60 days before we decide who was the president of the United States. And that caused a lot of confusion, not only in our country, also a lot of confusion in the whole world. So let's go back to Osceola County. In Osceola County, most of the people that they live in our District 46 were people that work 16 hours a day. So we don't have too much time to go out and go to vote because they lose money and they need money. I mean, we live in a community that they need the money. That's why they work so hard. So my recommendations is to try to educate people that they have to vote, but try to vote the last day. Don't do it by mail. Don't do it by what else? The other thing that in advance, because we have the experience in Osceola County in 2016 when Mrs. Deborah and also the one who is the owner of the Lechonera, Lisandra Roman, they have a big problem here. They have a big problem. They went to the court, they lost. They cannot even speak out. So my recommendation is to try to educate people and try to vote the last day. Don't do it in advance. That's my recommendation.
Mr. Alvarez, same question for you.
You know, over 20 years, I've been working with a lot of organizations, knocking on doors and educating voters, right? So, but another duty that we have as people that are running for office, I don't know about the rest, you know, I am called a door-to-door salesman. I knock on doors and I canvass from the beginning of election to the end. But you know what part of my conversation when I touch the hand of that voter is? Are you registered? Are you ready to vote? Did you vote? Did your family vote? And I tell them the importance. So that is also our job as candidates running for office to go out there door to door, and it's hot. Trust me, it's hot. And I do this 9-10 hours a day. You could walk the neighborhoods and see my sign. But part of my comment is the importance of voting and why we need them to vote. And if there's any family member that's not registered, we guide them in the right direction to get them to register to vote. It doesn't matter what party affiliation, as long as they vote and they exercise the right that they have in this great country of ours.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Now, let's move on to education, technology, arts, and culture. Now that we are we all agree that people need to be educated even more. And furthermore, when we come from other countries, that Puerto Rico doesn't have the same system that we have in the United States. So everybody has to get educated as of the electoral process is concerned. Now, on education, recently, Governor DeSantis has struck millions of dollars designated for the arts from a budget that was already approved by the state's legislature. Do you support these types of cuts? And also, why and why not? And keep in mind that that the state is interference with a school district regarding which books can or cannot be read. So, what is your take on the budget cost of the governor after a budget was already approved by the legislature? And I'm going to start with you, Mr. Alvarez.
So the state of Florida, we've been under Republican rule for over 20 years. And they have destroyed this beautiful state of ours. We're beginning to try to take books away from our schools. They need to remember the importance of history is that history will repeat itself. And that is what is being pushed. And so we need to make sure that we have enough voices in Tallahassee that can get bipartisan support. Because let me explain this to you guys. I don't know how many of you have done a lot of work in Tallahassee, and I have. Republicans are the super majority. The Speaker of the House and the Senate President actually tells representatives that are Democrats, they don't even have to show up to committees because we don't need your vote and your vote doesn't count. So you better know how to talk to the other side and get consensus and bring the issues up front of education, because those on the other side, they also have children and their children are being affected. So it's having that conversation, knowing what you're talking about and the importance of education in our system. And shame on this governor for have done what he did after the legislature did pass it. And shame on some of the bills that they have passed against education. They have tied our teachers' paid to our students' grades, which is ridiculous. It has affected our teachers in the way they teach. I had to take one of my grandkids out of public school and put him to homeschool so he can advance in what he needed to advance. So there's a lot of work to be done. And thank God that in 2 years, this governor will be term limit out. And we have to make sure that we bring the right governor to protect our state.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Mr. Rivera,
Interested.
Your take on it.
Things that we hear. That's why Dr. Rivera is a no party affiliation. We're gonna try to change the things that we have to change. Right now, if we're talking about education in this country, not only in this state, there is a lot of problems. Let me tell you what is the main thing. All of the governors, all of the House of Representative member, all of the House of Representative, those 120 people that they are up there, they hire attorneys, and the attorneys are the one who makes the decision. They receive the information from the attorney, they file it, and they give it to the governor. And sometimes the governor don't even know exactly what's going on because he's a group of attorneys who make the decision. That's why it's so important to have people in Tallahassee that they have a little bit of knowledge, not only in education, health, or security. We have to make changes there because otherwise, like my friend here is mentioning to you, it's very difficult in 2 years try to convince people because we are not the one who make decisions. Are the attorneys that they hire and they make the mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera. And Mr. Cruz?
Yes, we have to understand something too. We live, of course, it's a republic. We're a democratic republic, but we have elections here every 4 years, and then in between we have local elections. So having the Republican Party, the majority, or having the Republican Party running this for 20 years, it's not our fault. It's not a Republican fault. It's people they vote for Republicans. So you need to change the mentality. If you don't want them to vote Republican, then change their mentality and vote something else, or NPA or Democrat. But at the moment right now, we are a supermajority and we'll continue to be a supermajority, and we're not going to stop being a supermajority. And we're going to keep running the way that it is. And education, we need education, definitely, 100%. Is the education system the best right now in Central Florida? No, it's not. I have children. I have my grandchildren who are in the system, and I believe in also the vouchers, the private schools, the charter schools, because those are the kids who are learning a lot more because they have more discipline in the classroom. Unfortunately, and I'm not a teacher, and I don't want anybody to think I am. Unfortunately, in the public school systems, there's so much bureaucracy in there that you cannot. The children don't even get to learn. So that's my opinion on education right now.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Jacqueline?
Okay, as an educator, and I'm gonna just respectfully disagree with you. But as an educator, I have seen the direct effects, at least in public education, that the banning on books, on the distortion of history, of how things were during slavery, whether it happened or not, whether African Americans or Black or brown people took advantage of that. I mean, that's absolutely a disgrace to our democracy. You can't, put a hand over the sky and try to close it off. I mean, reality of the things that happen in this country are real. And banning books is a disgrace. I saw colleagues who had to take libraries home because they're afraid They're afraid of what to say, how to say it, when to say it. We have teachers that have left our profession, not to go out of state because of pay, of low pay here, but just left the profession itself because of the pressures that they're constantly under with this government. And then to turn it around, there's a Senate Bill 1264, look it up, that's gonna start in 2020, is already approved, and in 2026, 2027 school year, we have to teach anti-communism classes, K to 12. So we can teach that, but we can't teach about our past history. How is that beneficial to us? And, all parents have the right, and I truly believe that, to send their children to the appropriate school that they desire. However, I truly believe then private schools and charter schools need to be held to the same accountability measures as our public educators are.
Thank you for that. Indeed, it's a little intriguing what's happening, but from cuts at the state level, let's come to the economy at a local level on District 46. What is your economic plan, okay? And what existing programs do you support? And what new ones would you bring to instructed opportunities for local residents to gain better employment opportunity? I'm going to start with Dr. Rivera.
Yes, this is also a very interesting question. We know by facts that our children, our kids, they cannot even get married. I mean, everything is so expensive in the state of Florida that they cannot even get married. So we have to try to make something to lower the taxes, so people can live. It's not a matter of increasing the salary. That doesn't make any difference if you have the taxes so high in the state of Florida that you cannot even get married. So we have to start doing those things, especially in our district, District 46. I mean, we are loaded of houses. What happened? We cannot put any industry. We cannot do anything else. I'm a small business. I have my medical office. And we are sometimes struggling of what's going on. I mean, these have changed in a couple of years. It's completely different from when we start our clinic about 13 years ago. So we have to take care of that. We have to try to get more money. We have to make more changes in the community so that people can live better. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera. Mr. Cruz?
Yes, being in the community we're in and seeing a lot of development that's going on right now, me as a small business owner in downtown Kissimmee, we have to, for the economy, number one, promote more of the small businesses that we have here in the community. Work with people like Main Street and downtown Kissimmee. There's like 60 main streets in the state of Florida that are helping the communities and the people who want to open up a small business and help them out and develop the small businesses. But we have to also understand that we have to bring in more businesses. And how do you bring business? You have to give them tax breaks. And how do you give them a tax break? You don't give them a tax break forever, but you give them a tax break so they could come in and they could employ more people. Because the tax break isn't just because they want to be away with the taxes. No, the tax break is they want to come in and pay less taxes, but they're bringing in a lot of employment. So the economy is going to be able to go a little farther than what that is. The problem here is we have people working two jobs a week, 3 jobs. They work 12 hours a day. They don't see their kids. So the economy is really bad in that sense here in our district. So we have more small businesses. We encourage people to open their small businesses, and we support those small businesses, and we bring more companies in. I think we have a better opportunity with the economy for the county.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Jacqueline?
Hi. First, you asked a question about local economy, and it's a trickle-down effect. Because when we go to Tallahassee, we're there to amend or make new laws. We're not administrators locally. So it's very difficult for us to impact directly, although we can impact by bringing in more funding for economic development, making more accessibility for small businesses to get small business administration loans, to be able to develop new development here, new businesses. I think that we need to be able to educate and use our local agencies and Chamber of Commerce's to be able to promote incentivized. I also believe that we need to be able to make an effort to improve our workforce. We don't have a lot of workforce. We need students that have more vocational training, like Florida Technical College. Provide more funding for them to promote. Not everybody goes to a 4-year college. I think that we need to provide more assistance to our school boards to be able to implement different type of vocational schools and vocational training within our high schools, and even starting at middle school, so that we have a workforce that can aportar, to the economy, because we don't have a workforce right now, especially in construction. There's no workforce, and they're struggling.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alvarez.
Economic development. Yeah, we could start in the state. We could start in the state now, right now, when we go back to session, and ask the legislature to bring back the movie industry into Florida. Movie industry into Florida was taken away by our previous governor, and just kicked it out of Florida. And guess who took it? The state of Georgia took it.
Yep.
My regional office, when I served on the HUD, was in Atlanta, and I always had conversations with the governor of Atlanta. He always praised how happy he was that the governor of the state of Florida gave him the movie industry, which is very successful and has created thousands of jobs. So there's a part that we can start in the state of Florida. On the local level, the legislators need to start working more with mayors in the different municipalities. As mayors, and I'm a former mayor, and I still keep my title as mayor, we have something that is called home rule. And home rule was voted many, many years ago by the voters. And home rule has been under attack by this governor and this legislation from day after day. They were taking powers away from mayors from making decisions. Who knows their communities better than mayors? When I was mayor, my job was, number one, to create a medical district. Within 1 year, it became the 3rd largest medical district. We attracted new medical companies into Kissimmee. We offer incentives, but our incentives, they did not get them until they produced what they said that they were going to do. We were a little bit different than other municipalities. In our Kissimmee Gateway Airport, I created economic development growth to attract jobs. When we started to hear companies that couldn't come to the airport, what we did is economic development backward. We created aviation schools. And once we created aviation schools, jobs came right in, and we got people to work. We got FTC to come in and create trade schools. We got so many different trade schools back into Valencia College that offers a lot of trade schools. We were all part of the creation of that. And I think Jose Bosque was part of one of those programs that we brought to Osceola County when I was a city commissioner. I remember him sitting in my office in City Hall and asking me, this was important for our children. And we did that to improve their lives. And it's been very successful. And I appreciate him for the great work that we've done. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's a lot of work that can be done, and there's a lot of work that I've already done and I will continue to do as your representative.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Now, are there any questions from the audience? On what topic? Education, okay. Go for it. What's your name?
Angel Colbo.
Angel Colbo, thank you so
Yes.
much for being here today.
Thank you, thank you.
Your question, please.
Yes, so recently the Florida Department of Education came out with the statistics on schools in Poinciana. And surprisingly, Poinciana didn't perform so well, right? There's close to 100% of all students in Poinciana are minority students, right? And close to 100% of them suffer an economic disadvantage, right? Okay, so, and have language barriers. So my question is, will, as a representative, right? Because you guys cover parts of Poinciana too,
Entire Poinciana.
all of Poinciana, will you allow more funding to the Osceola School Board District to improve the resources that we already have, right? To help our students achieve academic achievement?
Let's start with Jacqueline.
Sure, because I work in Poinciana. I work at Co Elementary, right in the middle of Poinciana.
Thank you, Angel.
And I totally agree. I think that we need a lot funding. We need funding for tutoring, for after school and be tutoring, so our kids don't have to have waivers to get them out of PE or their block classes to be able to participate in that. I think we need able to provide funding so that we get buses to bus kids to and from tutoring, because a lot of our families don't participate in tutoring after schools because they're working and they cannot afford to keep their kids in school for 1 hour only and then pick them up or have somebody else to pick them up. So definitely the struggle is real in Poinciana, even though we have amazing teachers and we have amazing kids that can actually do the work and that can actually perform. But the funding is always a struggle for us in able to provide better materials, better instructional supports for IT. Those things are necessary, but the funding I will fight to get more funding for that, definitely.
Mr. Cruz?
Definitely. I have a lot of family members who are teachers and former teachers here and in the island. And one thing you have to understand is you have to get the family and the parents engaged also with the whole situation of education. Some parents, and we understand that they're all working and it's hard for some people, but a lot of parents don't work. But they let the kids go up in the morning at 6 a.m. to get the bus, and the bus never shows up. I mean, it's a real big of a headache for these children. I think the funding should be there. I think that's a priority, and it should be funding for our education here in Osceola County, and get engaged with because the teachers are as good as they can be. But if they don't have the funding, and it's sad to see a teacher having to go to one of these Office Depots, or this is not a commercial for anybody, and have to buy chalk for this and pens and pads because the classroom doesn't have that. Or they have to go and decorate the classroom because they don't have any funding to put the stuff. So I think, and it's 100%, that we need to have the government engaged economically speaking, and the parents. And I don't know if we have here the Parents and Teachers Association is very active, but if they're not as that active, I mean, we should have them get some more activity in there and be able to engage in the children. It's a very priority with us.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Rivera?
Okay, that's what we are talking here is very complicated sometimes. We have a school system. The school system, we raise our children. I come from Puerto Rico, the third country in the whole world that we have more people that they go to the university. I don't know if my friends here have been in one of those graduation from high school. I was in one of the high school where I raised my kids here, and I approached one of this group of people, this group of just newly graduates from high school. They don't even interested in going to the university. They were canalized to go to a technical college. They want to be electricians. They want to be mechanics. They want to be, I don't know what is the problem. So I approached the one who is in charge in the school, and what they told me is that the community is a low-income community, so they have to force people to go to those technical colleges so they can start making money right away because they don't have the money to go to the university. And that's not correct. We have to know that our children are the future of this country, and I will fight for that. I will bring those kids to the university so we don't have any problems, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Alvarez?
You know, all 5 of my daughters grew up in Poinciana, and they all graduated from Poinciana schools. And I know the struggle that people are going through in Poinciana very well. You know, when it comes to funding for education, there should be no excuse, right? There should be no excuse. If you look at so many years of what they've taken away from our school systems in reference to funding, in reference to what we pay our teachers, and how they have tied their salaries to their grades, and teachers at no fault of theirs have to continue to pass as kids, even knowing that they should not be going forward, because they got to also think of themselves and their own economical problems that they're in. Most of our teachers are working 2 and 3 jobs when they leave that school, right? So we should not be in that position. I remember when I was young, I'm not going to say how many years ago, we were taught trades in school. All that was taken away. You know, every parent their kids to go to college. That is the American dream. But we need to have reality. Not all kids are made for college. And even those that go to trade schools, when they graduate from trade school, they can still go to college after that, but they have a trade to fall into, so they don't have those school debts that they have. Thank God that we have the Biden and Harris administration and has had the deductions that they've done on those school debts and continue to fight. But we have a federal Supreme Court that keeps on fighting it and pushing back. So yes, we need to provide more fundings to school. We need to make sure that our teachers can do their jobs and that their own well-being of bringing fundings into their homes is not taken away.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez.
Just a small comment. The teacher's pay in this state is lower by $20,000 if you compare to the teachers in Texas.
And if I could bring something else, just so you guys know, the state of Florida actually has the highest percentage of homeschool kids than any other state. And several months ago, see, I didn't even know that homeschool education had an organization. And several months ago, our governor attended their conference. And you could Google this. It's great. Let your fingers do the walking. Our governor was saying how proud he was that the state of Florida has the highest percentage of homeschool kids. That just tells you what we have to deal with in Tallahassee with this governor and this legislation that we have.
Well, we have to move on.
Can
We have
I
to move on.
but I need the opportunity to rebut also.
Huh?
I need time because everybody.
I'll do the moderating. Thank you so much. And I'll let you
Okay,
do.
but we need to also monitor the timing because
Do
it
your
goes after
comment. I'll let you
seconds.
do your comment. Go for it.
Okay, the homeschooling, it's a very delicate situation, but those thousands of students that are homeschooled right now, I guarantee you they won't be in school. They'll be dropouts because their parents wouldn't have them in a regular system or private school or public school. You have them as dropouts. But if you can have a student that's a homeschool student, and I've known it because I have family members who are homeschool students, and their education is great and it's unbelievable, and they go to college. Out of homeschooling, a lot of these people are going to college or universities because they're homeschooled the right way. So not that the homeschool, there's nothing wrong with the homeschooling. It's just another system of education.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz.
Yes.
Jacqueline, you have
I just want to piggyback that, vocational training, four-year college is not for everyone. And I have very good friends that are electricians that make a lot more money than me as a teacher. So there's a lot to be said because we need houses. Houses need to be built. Construction needs to happen. Electricians are needed. Plumbers are needed, and they make good money. So I think that we need to provide the resources for all kinds of kids, not just for a couple of kids, but for all kids.
Thank you so much. We need to move on. We do have a question on the audience. Marcos Vilar.
Yeah, I can't help myself. I gotta put in one question, and it has to do with this thing of home rule and decisions in Tallahassee, and more the decisions of Florida landing in Tallahassee instead of in the school boards and in the counties and in the cities who are closest to the people, right? But years ago in Texas and Florida, there's been a trend to redraw the maps, right? To redraw the maps and to concentrate certain people in certain maps to the point where the rest of the districts are easily won by a certain party. In Florida, 6 years ago, I believe, there was a law that passed fair district amendments that prohibited the state legislature from dividing the districts in a way that would favor one party, the party that's controlled Florida. And that amendment passed, and the first time they did the redistricting, they had to redraw the lines. They followed the first district amendment. And the second time, this time, the legislature drew maps that were fairer than the ones, I wouldn't say they were fair, they still had a majority, but it was fairer than the map we have now. Why? Because the governor usurped, right? Took over the right of the legislature. This is a constitutional right of the legislature to draw the maps. He stole that right from the legislature by vetoing the maps, and he then drew his own map that is completely unfair, and where you would need 70%, you would need 70% of the voters to be Democrats in order to have an equal number of seats. In order for it to be balanced, you would need 70% victory by the Democrats. And this is a state that is half and half, right? So how can we address this? And when we talk about voter participation and voter apathy, how can people be excited to vote if the system, those people talk about rigging the elections, but they are in fact rigging the elections themselves. So how do we deal with that issue is the question. How do we stop this trend, right, of taking the power away from the local government, taking the power from the people, taking the votes from the people, and concentrate it in one guy up in Tallahassee?
Wow, that's a big of a question, and that's a very important question. So let's start with Mr. Alvarez. 1:30, please, on the clock.
I love that
1:30,
question.
1:30.
You're talking to an old mayor that got pushed down and was told that I couldn't do my job as a mayor anymore. And, yes, the governor did do that and forgot what the state court passed down, and he did whatever redistricting he wanted. I think you remember we should have had another congressional district right here in Osceola County, and that was removed all of a sudden, and we didn't have it, right? So District 9 is actually one of the largest congressional districts there is. But this is how they keep us down. This is how they control how many they're going to have in support of what they want to do in their agenda in Tallahassee. What do we need to do? Education is the process. We can't stop. We got to continue to bring this to the voters, tell them what's going on. Unfortunately, they're not being educated completely because they're so busy working their busy schedules, working 2 and 3 jobs. It is our job as nonprofits and us as people that are involved in our community to bring that information to them and keep educating. We could never stop, because if we give up, that's what they want us to do. They want us to give up, and we can't do that. We have to continue to follow through. And like I said, I'm a door-to-door person, and I have knocked on thousands of doors in this district. And part of my comments when I talk to a voter is everything that has to do and how important it is to vote. And then I bring up to them, I'm a Cuban immigrant. I did not have that right. And this is why my parents brought us here. And you should have the right to vote and make sure that your vote counts, because one vote can make a difference.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Mr. Rivera, please.
It's funny. Okay. We need a third party here. We need a third party here. We cannot continue running our country with Republicans or Democrats. We need a new party that can see what's going on, because I hear my friends here that they're talking about the same thing. The previous governor do this, the previous governor do. No. We need a new political party so we can know what's going on, and we can fix all of that through the Constitution of the United States. If we continue blaming on this party or this party every time they change, automatically we're going to be in the same scenario. We need a new party to be formed. That will take years, but we have to go for that. And I believe that that's the solution and the answer for this question.
Thank you
for
Rivera.
the question.
I appreciate it.
Well,
Mr. Cruz?
we do have more than the 2 political parties. We have a couple of things running around there, and they're political parties. But we got to go back to the education part, ladies and gentlemen. You have to teach the people how to vote, how to register. It doesn't matter. The numbers are numbers. If you have 1,000 people and just 2 people vote Democrat or 2 people vote Republican, that's the one's going to win. But if 1,000 people vote 50% one way and 50% the other way, it's half and half. But if they vote 51 plus 1, so it's all about educating our people how to vote, because they don't know how to vote. They don't know how to vote. We come from Puerto Rico. A lot of us come from Puerto Rico, and it's a different scenario of voting over there. And then they come here and they don't want to vote. They don't register to vote. They don't know how to register to vote. I'm one that I've knocked on a lot. Like he says, he does thousands of doors. That heat is really bad out there. We're working ourselves out. And you have to teach these people that they have to vote, how to register. You have to help them sometimes. And that's the only way you want to change the government. You say the Republican government is up there for 20 years. Then you have to change. You have to change the mentality of the people, make them vote, and change the government. In the meantime, we're going to be a Republican, and we're still going to be what for who knows how long, but we're going to be a Republican state.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz.
Obviously, I'm going to agree with my colleagues here that, educating our population is what's important. I think that, we have to educate people to stop having that apathy they have towards government or towards voting, and that, what their vote's going to do, they get stuck on, well, if my vote is not going to count anyway. No, your vote is going to count. And we have to convince people of the importance of that. I think that we need to, educate people on what gerrymandering is and, how it affects them directly, because people don't even know what that is. They say, okay, vote for this party or this party. It's not about parties. It's about what's happening in legislation and what laws are going to affect you directly. And unless you educate people in regards to that, they're going to still have that apathy about voting and about coming out to vote or learning about what's happening in their communities.
Thank you so much. I believe you had a question, sir.
Can I add some real quick on what Mark?
Let us him ask his question, please, and I'll give you the time. Hey, Mr. Alvarez.
Our great commission here in Osceola County, they are being able to get money for all these high school students to go to Valencia. That's great. Our mayor, our great mayor, Neo City, talk to us about it. What's going to be technology is the future. We are getting ready for Osceola to be the one that is going to be taking technology in the state of Florida. The mayor started that in New York City. What about you guys? What are you thinking about technology for Osceola's future?
Okay, I'm going to start with Mr. Alvarez.
I'm so glad the mayor. So let me first just make it very clear, New York City is not in the city limits, but we were very involved from the conception of it, right? So I was involved in the conception of bringing our utility companies inside New York City to make sure that they had the electrical and energy that they needed to be able to run. New York City is a long-term project, but as you guys know, and she's got to know about that high school, we just had the first graduation from that high school. This is what we need to do. We need to concentrate in creating more technical schools to be able to provide our children with that trade that is so needed as we in government approach companies and jobs to come in. We want to make sure that they don't bring outside labor force. We have to create that labor force. And we did that in New York City. And there's so many projects. There's actually one Department of Justice project going. There's a second coming that we can't talk about it or my head gets cut off. But there's a lot of different companies that are coming all into technology. So we need to concentrate. We need to bring trades back into our schools. And I wanted to say something just for the question that Marco, if I'm allowed to respond.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll give you a minute. Let's get a minute.
Put me a minute. Put me a minute. I promise I'll stay. Marco, you remember Hurricane Maria? You remember? I was mayor. I was involved. I was involved with all the mayors and governor that Rick Scott, when he was in office. Rick Scott went to Puerto Rico with all the mayors and said, "You'll come to Florida and we receive you." Then he sat with the mayors and said, "You all will be responsible to provide the necessary needs for those millions of people that were coming from Puerto Rico." And we asked, "How are we going to fund it?" He says, "I trust my mayors, they could do the job." So we did get together, Buddy Dyer, myself, Demings, all the mayors got together. We created in the airport, which it was the first place that we were creating all the programs, getting people registered for, healthcare, for everything that they needed, jobs. Guess what was the only thing that our beautiful governor did not allow us to do? He did not allow us to register them to vote. That was under their control. Guess what? Majority of Puerto Ricans that came from Hurricane Maria to Florida, and this is not just me saying, UCF actually did a study on this. Majority of the Puerto Ricans that came from Puerto Rico got registered by them as independents. They didn't know what independents were. When we were going to knock on their doors, you're not in our ballot. oh, I am in your ballot. I said, no, you're an independent. And they did not know. And this was the game that was played on us mayors in our community here in Osceola
Well, I
County.
gave him a minute. I'll give you a minute to respond to that as well.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay. My friend Alvarez, please start.
And I love him very much. I truly do.
My
I've
friend.
known him for
I
years.
mean, what kind of things, because you're talking about that you were the mayor, that you were the excellent mayor here. Okay, tell me, what kind of
I think the people
industries,
believe that.
okay, the people believe it. I'm your friend. What kind of industries you put into your district, the one that we're running right now? I want to know, you speak about the new city, but what happened to my people in Ponciana? What happened to my people in Pleasant Hill, in Hambrown? What kind of industries? That is what we're talking here. I don't want to. I don't want to be listening that you have a factory in St. Cloud. I'm talking about my people, my community in Ponciana, my district 46. That's why we're here. What kind of things we did?
Well,
That's the most important. Let's see what's going on. Because I don't want to be more things talking about the mayor or talking about the governor of Florida. Let's talk about the reality. My people in my community of 46, I have them every single day in my medical office with depression, with anxiety, because they don't have the money to be paying for the electrical bills.
Well, as we stated at the beginning, this is a forum where you're going to showcase your platform. This is not a debate. Nevertheless, I'm going to allow Mr. Alvarez to answer to your claims.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
1 minute, Mr. Alvarez.
So first, I want to make it very clear. Poinciana is not the city of Kissimmee. But since we're talking about creation of jobs and attracting companies, and you should do your homework, sir, I, as the mayor of Kissimmee, on Poinciana Boulevard, brought the largest tire recycling company into Osceola County. That is still up and running, and we're improving it every other time. Airport of Kissimmee. We have a lot of people that live, believe it or not, in Poinciana that work in aviation in our Kissimmee airport with the aviation school that I, as mayor and my city commission, approved to bring to our Kissimmee Gateway Airport. We have a lot of people that work in doctors' offices that you should know them, that were able to get jobs in our medical district that was created by the city commission and myself as mayor, which became the third largest medical district in the state of Florida. And I could go on and on
Okay,
on
Mr.
how many
Alvarez,
jobs we created.
we
sir.
gave you the opportunity to answer. We need to move on. We have
He
a
had
question
We
online.
didn't answer the question that he asked.
Huh?
We didn't answer the question that the public asked.
So go for it, Mr. Cruz.
Our district, at 46, and it goes all the way down to Poinciana, and I'm knocking on doors like everybody else, and I'm getting that heat every morning, and we're there for 2. It's horrible. And they're all telling me the same thing. We got the same issues, lack of jobs. The education system is not the education itself, because the teachers are unbelievable. They're doing what they can do with what the little bit they have. But people that don't have the jobs aren't there. They have to drive an hour and a half to get to Orlando to try to get a job, a decent job. It's not going to work. And then they got to drive another 2 hours back from Orlando to Poinciana because there's no jobs down in Poinciana. Yeah, you got Walmart, you got these new places that are opening up, but that has nothing to do with the real job creation. That's why we have to bring in real jobs. Don't get me wrong. Walmart and Walgreens, those are jobs, but we need to get high-paying jobs in our community. And the only way we're going to bring those high-paying jobs in our community is giving them incentives, letting them work with the tax credits, let them employ 100, 200, 300,000 people, and that's the way we're going to be able to do it. But saying that we did this when we were in Kissimmee, when we're good, that's the past. If we're going to keep up with the past, that's the problem when you're a politician that you want to be a politician for the rest of your life. That happens. I used to do this. I used to do that. No, you can't be a career politician to serve your people. You have to be a politician, work for your people, and get out and have somebody else come in. But if you want to be a career politician, District 46 isn't the right place to go. It's not the right place to go.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Jacqueline?
I'm going to answer his question, going back to, it's great to have these technical schools, but we need to have more promotion within
We'll go
our
with the question.
elementary or in high schools to be able to get those kids there. And we need to have criteria because all those specialized schools have certain criteria to meet to be able to get in them. And there's a vetting process and there are auditions like Osceola School of the Arts that not all kids have accessibility to. So we need to make sure, yes, you're building these wonderful schools and creating infrastructure for the future, but it needs to be accessible to all students, not to a few.
Thank you so much. Once again, I'm going to remind everyone that this is a forum. Please, let's just respect each other's opinions and platforms. Now, we do have a question in Espanol online, so please, I'm going to ask you to answer in Spanish this time around. Oriana?
Yes. Mariana Malpica pregunta, ¿qué propone para ayudar a los jóvenes que están entrando a la vida adulta y ven problemas especialmente con el housing en Florida y en la economía?
Vamos a empezar con el señor Cruz, por favor.
El problema del housing aquí no es un problema. Ahora mismo nosotros tenemos un programa que estamos pensando, estamos tratando de analizar de lo que se llama el affordable housing. El affordable housing es que la gente pueda vivir y pueden sobrevivir aquí, porque aquí no se vive, aquí se sobrevive. Cuando tú tienes una renta de una propiedad que te vale $2,000, $3,000 al mes y tú lo que te estás ganando son $1,500, $2,000 al mes, no hay manera que tú puedes sobrevivir. No hay manera. Tienen que pagar agua, luz, teléfono, no hay manera de sobrevivir. ¿Qué es lo que queremos hacer? La educación, cuando están esos jóvenes creciendo, como los colegios técnicos, que lo ayudan, crecen, estudian y pueden trabajar en el campo del empleo, ¿no? Pero que tienen que estudiar, porque tú sales de la escuela superior a trabajar en un Walmart, un Kmart, no va a funcionar nunca. Pero si tú sales de la escuela o mientras estás en la escuela estás cogiendo cursos técnicos como cursos vocacionales, como hacíamos en Puerto Rico, que tenemos cursos vocacionales y te enseñaban shop o te enseñaban hasta economía doméstica, cogí un semestre, imagínate. Sí, porque hay que hacerlo. Pero te enseñan a hacer las cosas. Cuando tú sales al campo de trabajar, te puede ganar el dinero honradamente y muy buen dinero se puede ganar uno, pero tiene que estudiar y tiene que inyectar a esa gente que estudie.
Gracias. Doctor Rivera, por favor, ahora con usted.
Caramba, ¿qué puedo decir? Ahora mismo nosotros tenemos en la 192, tenemos un montón de hoteles que están completamente cerrados. El gobierno puede entrar en esos hoteles y decirle a las personas que estén interesados en trabajarlo, porque hay entidades sin fines de lucro, que lo tenemos con algunas de las monjas que están por allá por Ocoy, por allá, donde ellas le dicen a una persona, yo te voy a dar $85,000 para que tú compres los materiales, para que tú arregles tu casa y tú compres tu casa. Como dice Michael, sí, hace falta la educación. Tenemos personas, porque incluso la vicealcaldesa de aquí de Osceola, la señora Olga Castaño, ella participó en arreglar este proceso. Hay casas de más que están abandonadas por años y años y años, no solamente en el condado, sino que también en la ciudad, que el gobierno tiene que meterse en esas casas y decir, o tú lo arreglas o yo te la voy a quitar y te voy a pagar por eso. Expropiar se llama eso en Puerto Rico, ¿verdad? Entonces, hay alternativas, pero la motivación es importante. Como dice mi compañero aquí, vamos a educar a la gente. Hay alternativas, hay alternativas.
Muchas gracias, señor Álvarez.
Yo fui el administrador de HUD. Cuando salí de HUD, el último trabajo mío fue que por primera vez Osceola County ahora es un Housing Authority. Y por primera vez en la historia de Osceola County va a poder coger dinero directo de fondos del gobierno federal que antes no podían hacerlo. So, ese proyecto ya está en camino. Cuando nos hablamos de affordable housing, eso es un problema que es bien grande y lo hemos trabajado y lo seguimos trabajando. Ahora, en este país, como dueño de propiedades, hay leyes que nos protegen, que el gobierno no puede, no es tan fácil como usted piensa, doctor Rivera, de un gobierno venir y quitar una casa. Eso no se trabaja de esa manera. Ahora, esos hoteles que usted está hablando, usted sí tiene la razón. Y yo le quiero decir que hay proyectos que están trabajando en este momento en la 192 que han sido inversionistas que los han comprado, que los están reparando, haciendo los apartamentos. La ciudad de Kissimmee compró uno que yo los ayudé a coger los fondos del gobierno federal y lo están convirtiendo en propiedades de affordable housing. Eso es algo que se está trabajando parte por parte con nuestra juventud, educación y asegurarnos que tengan una profesión para poder mantenerse en su vida y poder vivir bien.
Muchas gracias, señor Álvarez. Vamos a seguir porque se nos va el tiempo.
¿Puedo
¿no?
contestar?
Por eso. Tranquilo todo el mundo, que yo estoy claro que ella tiene que hablar, ¿no? Así que no se preocupe nadie. Dígame,
Yo creo, sí, la educación, y yo creo que en referente a la persona que está hablando sobre los estudiantes, si deben un estudiante darle los recursos necesarios para que terminen la escuela superior, para que vayan a colegio, vayan a una escuela vocacional, lo que sea, para que tengan algo en qué pararse, ¿verdad? Porque aquí, desgraciadamente, si usted no tiene un título, un certificado en algo, usted va a tener problemas tratando de conseguir un trabajo. Otro de eso es que sí, los hoteles en la 192 y hay un edificio ahora mismito que se está, no sé si está terminado, que se llama, yo lo escribí, denme un segundito, el Pinnacle at West Lane. Es un edificio que va a ser de affordable housing, tiene 3 pisos, tiene 3 edificios, pero sin embargo hablamos de affordable housing, pero ese edificio va a tener 96 unidades. Pero solamente 10%, son 9 unidades van a ser accesibles para low income housing. 9 de 96. ¿Cómo eso es affordable housing? Eso no es affordable housing. Si usted me está diciendo a mí que la mitad de los apartamentos de esos edificios van a ser para personas que tienen bajos ingresos para poder vivir una vida un poquito más cómoda en este estado que es tan caro, entonces estamos hablando de equidad. Ahora mismito no, eso no es factible.
Muchas gracias por tus contestaciones. Quiero comentar algo que gracias a todos ustedes tenemos mucha pasión porque hay mucha información que queremos dar y me disculpo si he brincado alguno, pero es que quiero cubrir toda la información que tenemos aquí. El próximo jueves, 1 de agosto, tenemos nuestro próximo foro que es el Orange County Commission 3. Okay, y es en el campus de Florida Technical College in Orlando. No, so that is next Thursday, August 1st, with Mayra Uribe, Linda Stewart, and Gus Martinez on their forum on August 1st at FTC Orlando campus. And I'm going to do like on TV. I'm a TV guy, right? So I need a commercial break. And to do that commercial break, I have a very important announcement, but I am not going to do it. I got my friend here, Margie, who's going to give us an amazing news. Come on over and let us know what you got cooking there, girl.
Muchas gracias en esta noche. Thank you so much. My name is Mary Angie Rosario, and I do represent Latina women in our community. Represento a las mujeres latinas de esta comunidad a través de la organización Mujer Emprende Latina. We are a non-for-profit organization, 501c3, and we work to empower Latino women to make and do businesses in our community. We wanted to fight against the poverty that the women around the world are living. And in our organization, we educate the women and bring tools to empower those women to succeed. So in the election time, we also, because our social responsibility, we also do a couple of events to position the women the issues of the woman are to be decided. And we do an event called Raise Your Voice. Our objectives with this event is to empower the woman to aspire to be in those positions and fight for the problems of the women around our community. And that's why I wanted to invite you all to join us next August 5th, where Mujer Emprende Latina will be doing this amazing event with a lot of representations of the women that are aspired for candidatures in this 2024. So thank you so much. I would love to have you all there. And once again, we do believe in that every woman deserves a life of honor and prosperity. Nosotros creemos como organización que toda mujer merece vivir una vida libre, digna y próspera. Gracias.
Gracias a ti, María. Una pregunta para María Ángel. Espérate, déjame, es que el jefe no sigue las reglas. tenemos que-
La pregunta es sencilla. Nosotros como hombres podemos ir a apoyar el evento de Mujer Emprende Latina.
Esa pregunta es tricky.
Claro que sí. Una de las cosas que nos encanta de esta organización y de muchas otras es precisamente cómo nos unimos para levantar a la mujer en este tiempo. Creemos en la equidad, creemos que la equidad es muy necesaria en los ámbitos políticos y la organización de Alianza estará siendo parte importante de este evento que lo llevaremos a cabo, como dije, el 5 de agosto y va a ser un evento que será en un estudio televisivo con capacidad para algunas 100 personas. Lo vamos a grabar para poder expandir esa información a la comunidad. Así que we are making invitation to all the women's candidates to have a position there and have like a little pitch to let us know what they think about it, about women problems and discuss issues that are important for the women. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nada como una mujer empoderada, ¿no? And this is a good a segue to this next topic, which is actually is very concerning to women in Florida. This is about Amendment 4. Okay, since the Supreme Court struck Roe versus Wade over a year ago, the topic of women's reproductive rights has been politicized. You know? What is your position on Amendment 4 and why? I'm going to start with Jacqueline.
Vote yes on
130.
Amendment
This
4.
is 130.
Vote yes on Amendment 4. I think that as a woman, no one should have a right over your body or the decisions you make for your body. I think that's between women and whoever they believe in, hopefully God and their physician. And I think that, you know, I'm not one or no one should be judging anyone else, especially women, on what the decisions that they make for themselves about their health care. I think that's very personal, and government has no business interfering in a woman's decision for her own health care.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Mr. Cruz?
This is real short. Government or man should not be involved in a woman's decision. It's the woman's decision. I'm not going to have my opinion on it because I am not a woman. So I respect that. And women have their right to their opinion on Roe versus Wade. Now they're doing it to the local level. But it's not an issue that I want to get into because that's a very delicate issue. And it's an issue that women with their creator, whoever they believe in, if they believe in something, have to deal with that issue. It's not a man's thing. It's not.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz.
Yes.
Mr. Doctor, you're a doctor and a candidate. So what's your take on Amendment 4?
Okay, I will vote no for Amendment 4. I'm a Christian. I don't believe that we should use the abortion like a contraception. I have in my office the experience of 43 years being a physician that I have people that they make abortions and then I have to send it to the medical doctor, to the psychiatric doctor. So it's not a matter of, it's a matter like we say education. If we educate people, if we educate our people from the beginning, they will use contraceptive. There are so many contraceptives that is not. We have to be clear that if there is a violation, if there is somebody that is being raped, somebody that has been raped, then we have to make decisions in the emergency room, and we will offer that lady the possibility of an abortion. But we cannot use abortion like a contraceptive, and that's the most important. It's not a matter of privilege of a female unless it's a rape, okay? Because they are confused on what's going on. We have to teach our kids that they have to believe in God, and that's the most important. At least in this country, this country is being under God, like you can see in the $1 bill from the beginning. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Alvarez?
You know, God bless them. God bless America.
Yeah.
In my house, women rule. I have 5 daughters and my wife, and guess what? They rule. I'm a big believer that it's the woman's choice, and government should not interfere. On April 2014, we had one of the longest city commission meeting, and it was to either approve or not for Planned Parenthood to come to Kissimmee. It was about a 6 to 8 hour meeting, and we had people in favor and opposing it. And at the end of the day, we said government has no right to stop what a woman does with her body. It wasn't an easy vote. I made the motion to pass it, and it finally passed after 8 hours at 3-2. And Planned Parenthood, it's here in Kissimmee, offering the services that are not only for having abortion, but it's services of what he just said, education, to prepare them to know what they need to do. They even educate men. So I'm yes on Amendment 4, and if I can vote twice on Amendment 4, I will do that also. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions in the audience about Amendment 4 for the candidates? Angel, wait for the mic, please. Thank you. I even know your name.
Hi, Angel Koba here again. I have a pretty juicy, controversial question.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay,
See you
so
later.
hold on. Okay, so as a Florida representative, right? So in Florida, currently, there's a 6-week mark for women, right? Aren't allowed to receive an abortion past that 6 week unless there's a statutory exemption, right? As a Florida rep, will you fight to increase the 6 weeks or lower the 6-week mark? Why?
Well, I'm going to start. Sorry, guys. I would increase it
Mujer
back
empoderada,
to
ustedes ven,
15,
go for it.
to the 15 weeks, because in most cases, all of us know that it's very rare that a woman knows that they're pregnant before that 6 weeks. Usually it's at the 8th week that you're starting feeling nauseous and sick and something is off. So that 6 weeks, women don't even have an option. They don't even know they're pregnant yet. Most women don't. But I would fight to increase that ban to 15 weeks.
15. Mr. Cruz?
I'm going to do my personal opinion on this one. I'm against abortion, point blank. So to check out a woman and see when she's pregnant is 6 weeks, 15 weeks. Like the doctor was saying, there has to be a circumstances very, very particular of what happened, why. And you can't just tell, I'm going to get an abortion because I was raped. Yeah, give an abortion. No, it's all psychological. There's a lot of, it's not just one person that the doctor's saying, yeah, you can give an abortion. She's only 6 weeks. There's no problem. No, you're killing a baby. And then now they've proven that the baby is in conception or whatever in a couple of days.
Mhm.
I mean, so to me say here, oh, it's fixed 6 weeks, 10, 15 weeks. No, I'm against abortion totally. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody on that. But it has to be the condition of why you're going to do the abortion. And to do it 6 weeks, no. The 6 weeks is too new to know if the person is pregnant. But I don't believe in it, unless the circumstances like you were saying. So,
Mr. Rivera, can you want to answer that question?
doctor's opinion? Doctor's opinion?
Let's clarify a point. I'm a physician. Once a lady have intercourse in less than 24 hours, physicians can determine if she's pregnant or not. In less than 24 hours, we make a blood test. We're going to know if that lady is pregnant or not. So my recommendations, like I mentioned before, against this, I'm not approving Amendment 4. No way. This is our country. This is our kids that they are dying. But there's, like Michael says, there are some circumstances that we have to offer that possibility. For life is life. We cannot go to abortions. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Alvarez?
It's a decision of women.
Again, this
Neither-
is a forum. Let's just,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, this is
Give
a
it to you.
decision of women, not men in government. The women has to make the decision. And I'm a Christian, my friend. And people brought me when they said, why would you pass Planned Parenthood and God? And what about God? I go, you know what? That's between that woman and her God. That is not up to me in government or as a man to make that decision for them. The good thing is that prior to us going to session, Amendment 4 will pass. And everything that these people have put on the table to dictate when or not to have an abortion or not, it will go away because Amendment 4 has to pass We have to make sure we educate the public on why it needs to pass. We have to make sure that women keep their rights. We have a president that has appointed we have a future president that would like to be president again and has appointed a future vice president that has said that women will remain married even if they're abused by their husbands because they have to be submissive. Do we want to live in a country like that? So yes, I'm in favor of Amendment 4. Women will make the decision. It is not up to us to make that decision for them.
Can I add something really quick? And I totally agree because we're not in my mother's time. You know, we're not in my mother's time. Women are not submissive anymore, and we have rights, and we'll exercise those rights. And another thing is that women who are in this audience, how many of you have intercourse with your spouse, with your boyfriend, with whoever, and the next day you're going to go to the doctor to see if you're pregnant or not? That's not even reality. We don't do that. We don't do that.
Well, let's. I know that you want to answer to that, but let's wait on to closing statement. We have one more question before we go to closing statements, and this is also quite controversial in this state. Okay, and this is about guns. All right. What are your thoughts on gun violence prevention, and what will you do as a legislator to make sure that District 46 is as safe as it can be from gun violence, femicides, and mass shootings? I'm going to start with Mr. Alvarez.
You know, it's again, it should be education, right? How many of you have a driver's license, and when do you have to renew your driver's license? And what's the first thing that you do is they check your eyes, and you have to renew it. Anybody that has a profession, he's a realtor, I'm a real estate broker. Every 2 years, I have to pass a course of continuing education. And if you ask the state why, you know what they tell you? Is to protect the consumer. Well, guess what? I've had a concealed gun license permit since the early 80s when it came to life. I don't have to renew my license till 7 years. You know what I did just for the heck of it to play with them 7 years when it was up? I went in person and the gentleman said, Mr. Alvarez, you've had your gun permit older than what I am right now. You don't have to be here. You could have done it online and just pay the fees. And I said, do me a favor. Take a look at that picture. And now take a look at me. What do you see different? He says, I don't understand. I go, I'm wearing glasses. What does that tell you? Do you think I can see the same way as the first time that I took this permit? No, I cannot. So I'm a big supporter, and I will write legislation that gun permit holders, because if they decide they want to be able to carry a weapon and have to have, mind you, in this state, you don't have to have a license anymore. That license needs to come back. They have to renew it every 2 years. We have to make sure that they're able to really carry that weapon. And I will pass legislation in reference to that.
Okay, we're talking about amendment number 2. We're talking about the possibilities that a person that is in this country can carry a gun. Why not? Why not? But we have to also understand that some people, they are not allowed to be carrying weapons. We have a mass shooting in some schools here. That's the same thing that happens in all the world. There is no problem in Texas. In Texas, everyone can carry a handgun without any permit, without any problems. So what happened in Florida is different. It's the same thing. It's a matter, right now, this pen can be a knife. Are you going to tell me that I cannot carry a pen because it's a knife? No, it's the same thing. We have to have people that when you take out this license, make an evaluation, go to a physician, go to a psychiatric doctor, so they can determine if you're not going to pick up or buy a gun when you have mental issues. Okay, that's very simple. It's a matter of controlling who is carrying or who is not carrying. But that's the amendment. That's the Constitution of the United States, and we have to obey the Constitution of the United States. If the one who want to change the Constitution of the United States, there are procedures to follow. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera.
Well,
Cruz?
the Second Amendment is a constitutional right to bear arms, right? And I think probably 90% of the people here, 95% of you have a weapon. I don't think the government should intervene and try to amend the Constitution of why you can and who can and who can't. We already have enough laws restricting weapons. And people say, yeah, but the mass shootings, excuse me? You want to start?
Let's just wait until we go to questions, and you will.
There are no well, okay. So they are, and they are because you figure this out. The people who are committing crimes with weapons are people who are with illegal weapons. First of all, criminals, they're felons. But then you guys, or whoever wants to, because you're probably one of them also, you want to restrict what a citizen could do with their weapon, because I carry mine, and you want to restrict what we do because of what the felon is doing or the criminal is doing, but you don't restrict them. Yeah, you arrest them and put them on the, that's it. But it's easy for them to grab a weapon and do what they have to do. But then people want to restrict us, the law-abiding citizen, of our constitutional right, which is the Second Amendment. And I'll go to legislation, and there's for me, nobody's going to touch my right to bear arms, because it's my right. It's my right.
Thank you. Jacqueline?
I believe in the Second Amendment and, the right for people to bear arms. However, the first thing I would do was, as a legislator, is repeal the permitless carry. People should not be anybody have access to buying a weapon or carrying it around or not having it in a safe lockbox or in a safe place at home, because it's a danger. It's a danger to society. Another thing is that I will keep the age limit at 21 for purchase, not lower it down to 18. They say, oh, well, if you can have an 18-year-old join the army and shoot a weapon. Well, I don't see anybody carrying an M16 around, because M16s in the army are locked under lock and key. They're not even in your barracks. So, that's not even a comparison. And especially with this law, that you want to add guardianship programs to have educators carry weapons within our schools. We have enough issues trying to teach our children and do the curriculum to have to worry about one of our colleagues having a gun at school. We have a lot of teachers with mental health issues. We have a lot of people, that don't have that vetting process in terms of mental health. So why do we need to make it accessible to all society to have the availability to possess a weapon without any kind of restrictions or guidelines or permits or trainings to go through to be able to possess that arm? Yes, you can possess it as long as you have the appropriate things in place to have it.
Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Okay, we have a question from the lady.
Who's the timer? Timer.
Yeah, time.
It's my time now. Esta sería una pregunta con un sí o un no. Yo fui un estudiante Colonial High School 2018, alrededor cuando pasó el mass shooting en Douglas High School. Yo estaba en mi salón de clase cuando veía esto en las noticias. Para mí fue frustrante e impactador. Como mencionó, por ejemplo, con un arma puedes matar hasta 20 personas en menos de 20 segundos. Con un lapicero es imposible poder hacer eso. Con un yes o no, ¿ustedes creen que los maestros deberían de estar armados en las escuelas? Y yo sufrí de tener maestros que mentalmente no estaban capacitados para ser maestros. Ahora, ¿ustedes creen que los maestros deben estar armados? ¿Sí o no?
Boom, ahí está.
Como contesté ahora mismo, no. Los maestros no necesitan estar armados. Los maestros necesitan dar clases y enseñarle a nuestros estudiantes. Eso, la certificación de ellos es para enseñar, no es para cargar. Ellos no son un policía. Para eso tenemos school resource officers dentro de la escuela que carguen su arma.
Mr. Cruz?
No, no debe cargar el arma. Un maestro, no creo. Hay profesionales para eso. Y te digo, yo soy veterano del Army. Trabajé en law enforcement también en Puerto Rico, y hay personas que están especializadas para tener sus armas de fuego. Yo no creo que una persona que esté armado, que sea un maestro, porque mucha gente te van a decir sí, pero la persona no va a entrar a hacer daño porque como no sabe quién está armado. No, señores. Si tú tienes una persona que está armado, un policía, ni seguridad, yo creo que debe ser un policía que debe estar ahí, porque un agente de seguridad no coge ni training. Lo coge una licencia D y C y la semana que viene no. Un policía que esté en la escuela, en el plantel, y ese policía pues controla todo lo que tiene que controlar.
Mr. Rivera.
Cuando mencioné,
Permiso, deje que ellos terminen y pasamos a las preguntas, ¿ok? Con mucho gusto, ¿tenemos una ya? Ok, pues esperemos a que terminen y le permito que haga el comentario, por supuesto.
cuando mencioné que con un lápiz se puede matar a una persona, tenemos al lado aquí un cinturón negro de karate que con esto no necesita tener un arma automática, ni una 9 milímetros, ni un 22. Por lo tanto, mi opinión con respecto a este tema tan y tan conflictivo que ha estado ocupando las televisiones de todos lados, yo le voy a preguntar si aquí en la sala en estos momentos hay una persona, si hay una persona que a los 18 años entró en el ejército y sí puede disparar los M16 y puede hacer muchas cosas, y hay que reconocer que si tienen el derecho a los 18 años, no hay que subirlo a los 21, y los maestros, no es que se le va a dar un arma de fuego a un maestro, se le va a entrenar, porque en estos momentos en el condado que nosotros estamos aspirando aquí, lo que hay son 6 agentes de orden público que no pueden cubrir cuando hay una situación como esta. Porque con el tráfico que tenemos en Ponciana, si salen del cuartel de la policía, cualquier escuela superior que tiene el condado de Osceola, no van a llegar. Y ese maestro, si se le enseña, se le entrena y se le da tiempo para aprender a usar un arma, yo creo que es la seguridad que necesitamos para nuestros hijos.
Tenemos que to wrap it up.
I'll make it
Mr.
quick.
Álvarez.
We talked about education problem enough. Why should we add this to our teachers? We need to have law enforcement, they're professionals, to be armed, to be in school, to protect our students. And when it comes to any other type of weapons than a gun, whether it be in the military or in the police department, and I can tell you because I ran a police department as a mayor, my officers cannot carry anything more than a gun unless they had the proper training and continue to train to carry it. I'm in favor of the Second Amendment, to carry a weapon, but you should be educated on what you're carrying and how you use it and how you conduct yourself.
Okay.
And so, thank you. I say no to
Okay,
teachers
we
being armed.
have to come to an end, but I'm gonna add to this also as a veteran. It doesn't matter how much training you get. It doesn't matter how many conflicts you have been to. When you're put on that position, you don't have an idea how are you going to react. So therefore, it doesn't matter. People that are trained to go to the wars, they train every day, not once a month, not once a quarter. So my position is you're a position that guns should be left to the professionals that can carry guns. So on that note, I know that you wanted to make a comment, so please go right ahead. Wait. And after that, we close with your question, okay? And we go to closing statements. Thank you so much.
Sí, buenas noches. Simplemente un comentario. No, los maestros, soy maestra de vocación en Puerto Rico, y los maestros estamos preparados para educar para la paz, no educar para la violencia. Ponerle un arma a un maestro, y más con la salud mental que está en el mundo, ¿verdad? Porque es a nivel mundial, es enseñarle al niño que no se arregla el mundo con la paz, se arregla con la violencia. Un maestro bien preparado en artes marciales, en ser mediador, yo creo que es una mejor arma, no una pistola. Yo creo que se debe educar para la paz,
Gracias.
no para la violencia.
Gracias. Pasamos con la pregunta de el caballero, por favor. Oriana, y después de ella ya tenemos que cerrar para closing statements.
No estoy en contra de la enmienda 2, ¿verdad? Yo estoy claro de que existe la enmienda de que podemos cargar un arma desde los 18 años, pero a mí la preocupación no tanto es quién la carga o quién la dispara. A mí también la preocupación es quién la vende y cómo la mercadea. En el sentido de que tenemos, ¿cuántas tiendas de armas tenemos en todo el estado? Y yo quisiera saber, ¿verdad? Si en el panel me explican y qué ellos harían para investigar estas compañías de armas y qué oficina del gobierno las investiga si están llevando a cabo el filtro necesario de por qué una persona de 18 años puede comprar un arma que puede tirar 100 balas en un minuto. O sea, ¿quién determina o que si ustedes están de acuerdo en una legislación local, no creo que la haya, que no se le permite a una persona de 18 años o el filtro que se le debe hacer para que no tenga acceso a una arma de este tipo, de asalto? Porque las matanzas masivas que hemos visto son con este tipo de armas. Y aquí en este estado, en los estados, el arma es como el tener un segundo Dios. Y hay algo que tenemos que hacer, que tiene que llegar a la legislatura, de que tengamos que hacer un filtro en estas tiendas de armas, porque yo estoy seguro que si yo me pongo a comprar un arma, yo estoy seguro que el filtro que me van a hacer no va a ser el necesario, porque ello es ganar dinero. ¿Y quién los detiene? ¿Quién detiene eso?
Bueno, vamos a ver entonces. Usted dijo una preguntita corta, pero ahí va. Vamos a darle 30 segundos para que reaccione a la pregunta del caballero.
Primero le voy a responder. El departamento que gobierna las armas es el Departamento de Agricultura. Ahí empezamos con un problema. El Departamento de Agricultura es el que está encargado de que quién anda con un arma o no. No law enforcement, no ningún departamento de policía. Y ahí es donde empezamos con los problemas. Las restricciones de arma, cuando tú tienes una licencia y vas a comprar un arma, te dan lo que es el 3 days de esperar, y esa ley existe para asegurarte que no hay, tú no tienes ningún problema, pero la eliminaron. Ya no tienes que tener licencia, no hay espera, y el año que viene una legislatura para cargarla afuera, no escondida.
Seguimos, señor Rivera.
Okay, bien fácil. El gobierno federal, alcohol, tabaco and firearms, son los únicos que controlan todo eso que está diciendo mi compañero aquí.
La licencia se saca con el Departamento de Agricultura.
Ok, vamos despacio. Los federales sobreponen a los estados. Las decisiones de ATF, alcohol, tabaco and firearms, son cuando usted saca una licencia, ellos van a evaluar. Y con respecto a la contestación del señor aquí, tenemos que entender que muchas veces hasta los Boy Scouts, las Girl Scouts, participan en tiro al blanco desde los 13, 14 años, y así de esa forma ellos pueden terminar en ser los que nos representan a nosotros allá en las Olimpiadas. O sea, depende de lo que usted quiera ver. Como dije, esto es un bolígrafo. Mi compañero aquí, que es un cinturón negro, con esto puede matar a 2 o 3 antes que llegue un policía. Por eso es tan importante que en las escuelas sí hay que entrenar a los maestros. En esta comunidad hay que entrenar a la gente, porque hay que tener mucho cuidado. El tiempo de la policía, los agentes no están disponibles. Tenemos en el distrito 46 6 agentes para 3 turnos. Así es que ustedes me dirán si ustedes no quieren estar protegidos.
Mr. Cruz.
Alguien menciona de las armas de alto calibre, de estilo ejército. Eso no se vende. Eso no se vende. Yo creo que la gente que está aquí, que tienen armas de fuego, que han ido a comprar, tú no puedes comprarte una metralleta. Eso no existe. ¿Sabes? Un AR-15 sí, quizá, pero no te lo venden en la calle, porque eso es militar, ¿entiendes? Las armas cortas, que son semiautomáticas, tú no puedes disparar, o sea, tú lo puedes cambiar, pero no viene para eso, no se compra para eso, ¿entiendes? Y la legislación es bien claro, la segunda enmienda es bien clara. Y en Texas ellos tienen el open carry, y hay otros estados más que tienen open carry, y en Arizona también tienen open carry, y no han tenido ningún problema. La criminalidad es menos que aquí. Hay criminalidad, pero lo que dice el doctor de que hay 6 policías o 6 deputies en Poinciana, sí, hay 6 deputies. Eso significa que hay que coger y meter más. Así hay que reclutar y retener más, y tener lo suficiente para coger. Es un pueblo completo ahí abajo.
Impresionante. Jacqueline, what's your take
Y
on it?
traer más dinero para eso, porque si no tenemos el dinero para adquirir más personal de policía, ¿cómo vamos a solucionar? Otra cosa para añadirle a lo que usted dijo, el gobierno federal, la persona que quiere adquirir un arma puede adquirirlo de personas que no tienen licencia, porque eso lo supervisa las regulaciones del gobierno federal. Pero si usted es un vendedor, ¿verdad? Un vendedor que no está licenciado para vender, sí puede vender en línea, en las redes. Usted puede vender porque el gobierno federal no rige esa área. Entonces, por ahí pueden conseguir armas más fáciles a través del Internet, de las redes, porque el gobierno federal no regula eso. Y especialmente si no tienen licencia.
Bueno, aquí podemos seguir toda la noche hablando del tema. Sabemos que es un tema controversial. Vamos a pasar a la pregunta de la señora y ya tenemos que terminar a closing statement. Necesito a ella primero, por favor. Muchas gracias.
If elected, you have 2 years to make the biggest impact in Tallahassee for the benefit of the district that you represent. Experience is key. Without going into a long explanation of the whys and the hows, what are the 3 issues for each of you that are of most importance issues to benefit the district that you are representing?
Let's start with Jacqueline.
I can say it in Spanish if you wish.
That's okay. That's okay.
She said, what are the 3
Sí,
tops?
I can translate.
Okay, go ahead.
Si elegido, tienen 2 años para hacer el mayor impacto representando el distrito en
46.
Tallahassee. Experiencia es importantísimo. Sin entrar en detalles largos, ¿cuáles son los 3 temas de mayor importancia para cada uno de ustedes que van a beneficiar el distrito que representan?
Gracias.
For me, my 3 top is obviously education. The second is public funding for education and for keeping and retaining our teachers. Secondly is the right for women to protect healthcare for women. And my third one is gun control and affordable housing, if I have to add one, because that's really hard to do.
Okay. Mr. Cruz.
Yeah, for me, it'd be economy and growth for the district, the small businesses, the taxes and insurances on the homes, and one that's very, very close to me is veteran affairs. I've been trying to call the VA for the last week and haven't gotten in touch with anybody. So I think that's very important that we talk about the veteran affairs. It's very important.
Thank you. Mr. Rivera.
Sí, bien fácil. Como médico, la salud es lo importante para mí, la educación, que es lo que vamos a tener todo con el historial que tengo de haber sido profesor de la universidad, y la seguridad, como fui capitán de la Guardia Nacional en Puerto Rico. Yo estuve en el ejército también. Por eso le puedo decir a los que estaban preocupados con respecto a las armas, una Glock, una piececita de este tamaño que a lo mejor vale $200, lo cambia para que sea una arma automática. Pero en el momento que usted tiene una arma automática o un silenciador sin licencia, usted está cometiendo un felony, un delito federal y va para la cárcel.
Mr. Álvarez.
One of the biggest issues that we're being hit is homeowners insurance. Homeowners are losing their homes. They can't afford their insurance. Car insurances. So we need to continue to work and pass legislation to improve it. The legislators have done some work in reference to that issue. Now that there's protection in front, now we have to make sure that we know how to attract insurance companies that we've ran them away from the state to bring them in so we could have competition. Competition is great. I'm a business owner. Competition is great. Competition brings the prices down. Number 2, infrastructure. We need to catch up with the growth that, especially in this county, we've had. There is no way to catch up the way we're going. So we need to make sure that we bring the fundings that are needed for infrastructure to continue to grow the way we're growing. Osceola County has over 100,000 acres of future growth. This is the county that's going to grow the most in the state of Florida. Health insurance. And health insurance, my doctor friend, is very simple. Medicare expansion. If you pass Medicare expansion, you close the gap. And not only is going to benefit the people themselves, but it'll actually help doctors and hospitals because now they have debts that the patient could not pay. But if we had Medicare expansion, we could have done it. We had that opportunity here under Rick Scott, and we became the biggest giveaway state. We gave over $60 billion because it was coming from the Obama administration and he didn't take it. He gave it away, and we could have had medical expansion, and our people would not be suffering the way they are with either lack or no insurance for them and their families. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We ran over a little, but it was all worth it. I think we have so much information to give to our community, and you know the importance of attending these forums and be present on it, online or offline. So with that said, you have two minutes for your closing statement. I'm going to start with.
Just 2 minutes, Jose.
I don't see very well. 2 minutes. I don't see very
2
well.
minutes. No, for that, I'm gonna
I
start.
don't carry a gun anymore. But I do have protection outside.
I'm going to start with you, Mr. Alvarez.
You know, it's always been an honor to represent the community here in Kissimmee and Osceola County, and I'm looking forward to representing them in Tallahassee and continue the work in prosperity. I want to see our people here in our community to grow and benefit from the community itself. I'm tired of seeing our youth leaving our community because they can't find the jobs that are needed. The jobs are here. We just need to offer the education that is needed. And again, to me and my family, you know, I've been married for over 35 years, 5 beautiful daughters, 6 beautiful grandkids. This is home for us. We moved out of South Florida when my kids were young, and we brought them to Kissimmee so they could have an opportunity to grow as Kissimmee and Osceola County was growing with them. And it is an honor always to serve. I am not a politician, like some people might say. I work for a living. I sell real estate for a living. Because guess what? As a mayor, I was making $29,000 a year. As a state representative, I'm going to make 27. My wife ain't going to let me serve in office, bringing $27,000 a year. So I do this as a passion, and I do this to give back to this great country of ours for the freedom that it gave me to be successful having my own business. And so to me, public service is in my heart. I don't have to serve anymore. I serve because I was asked to serve, to bring my experience to Tallahassee, so I can start working on day one and not sitting there trying to learn what am I going to do to help my community to become better. So thank you so much for this opportunity that you gave me today.
Thank you, señor Álvarez. Doctor Rivera.
Bueno, tengo 2 minutos. Yo creo que yo soy uno de los que más ha estado hablando y más claro, 2 minutos, no 1 y medio. Uno de los más que ha estado hablando en la noche de hoy. He sido bastante claro en lo que yo quiero hacer en mi campaña. Yo estoy retirado para los efectos. Tengo una oficina médica que no tengo muchas veces ni que estar allí, pero yo sigo viendo pacientes porque un médico de 46 años nunca se retira. Como bien dice mi compañero aquí, esto es una pasión, no es por el dinero. Es por los atropellos que tenemos constantemente en el condado de Osceola que no acabamos de arreglar los problemas. Llevo 17 años viviendo aquí con el mismo tráfico. Llevo oyendo las mismas cosas. El seguro médico, los problemas, no tenemos dinero. ¿Qué pasa? Pues necesitamos personas que sean dinámicas, personas que puedan llevar nuevas ideas a Tallahassee, personas que cuando lleguen allá arriba no me digan como me dijo un legislador, que yo le digo, ¿y por qué usted no radicó este proyecto? Y me contestó que es que no le hacen caso. Y yo le dije, usted dígame quién no le hace caso. Y yo le pongo 5 guaguas de 50 pasajeros en Tallahassee con unos pancartas que digan que tienen que hacerle caso. Porque si usted no le hacen caso como legislador, no tiene que estar representándome a mí. Ustedes perdonen que yo sea tan claro y tan exacto. Ya estamos cansados de promesas inciertas. Los legisladores salen y usted nunca los encuentra. Usted llama a las oficinas y lo que hay es un contestador. Aquí tenemos nosotros que meter mano, como decimos en Puerto Rico, y mojarse los pies. No podemos seguir dejando que estén decidiendo por nosotros personas que no tienen ni ellos mismos las capacidades para estar allá arriba. Gracias por escucharme.
Dale una sana.
Tranquilo.
La receta que la haga el
Los médicos no podemos hacer recetas a nosotros mismos.
Mr. Cruz, your closing statements.
People are probably asking, why should they vote for me? And I would say, why shouldn't you vote for me? But that's me saying that, right? What I want to bring to this district is growth, and the economy, which we need. We do not have the growth of the economy. We don't. Our district doesn't have it. Work with the small businesses, because I'm talking to people out there every day and they're telling me about those same problems. The small business, I have a small business in downtown Kissimmee. And just like the gentleman was saying, I got 10 grandkids and a great grandson. So I know how family works. And everybody struggles here because the small businesses that people do have, I'm not the only one in my family who has small business. I have my kids have small businesses, my nephews, my nieces, they all have small businesses and they're all struggling because there's no help from the local government or the central government. There's no help. So that's one of my things that I want to bring over with the small businesses. The taxes and the insurances on properties. One of my goals would be, and people think I'm crazy, is once you become a retired person, you're 65, you're on Social Security, you barely can make it. Why do you have to keep paying taxes on your house?
Right.
Why do you have to keep paying taxes on your house? Why can't those taxes of that major home you have be waived? Because they can get taxed some other way. So people probably say, "Oh, you're crazy." No, I'm not crazy. That's something that I guarantee you told the majority of people that if we could do that, they would want to do that. That's what constituents are saying they want to do that because they go to my office at 70 years old, 65, and they have to sell their homes because they can't pay insurances, they can't pay HOAs, and the HOAs is another situation we need to talk about. The homeowner association, we have to have some kind of oversight committee on these people that run the HOAs, the homeowner associations, because they're taking homes away from people. They're just foreclosing on homes because you have the grass high. They give you a couple of liens and they take your home away. So all those issues that we have, the education, the veterans, the homeless people. I mean, we have a lot of issues that we need to talk about, and definitely we'll be talking about that. And one is extra thing, and I have my minute because I'm going to extend a little bit. I have a program that I want to work with the foster children. When the foster children become 18 years old, they're out of the system. And where do they go when after the system? They're homeless. I've been to homeless camps, and the majority are telling me, I left the system of foster care, and I have nothing to do. I have a program that I'm sitting down with several people that we could start teaching these people some trades while they're still in high school, 15, 16 years old. They graduate out of high school, and they have something to do. They're nail technicians, they're barbers, they're whatever they are, but they have a technical skill, and they don't have to depend on the government, and they don't have to be homeless anymore. Everything goes down to education, folks.
Thank you.
God bless America.
First, my thanks to Alianza for putting this together and gentlemen for coming out. I believe that, in order to go to Tallahassee, it's not about candidacy and about politics. It's about the love you have for your community and trying to make it better. I think that we have a lot of issues. We need rent control. We need to have better education path for all kids to be successful. We need to provide more mental health care in schools. We need to provide more services for special ed kids. What do they do after high school? How do we connect them to services? Those are the important things that are table topics for our families. It's not about whether, we have massive amount of money coming into the district. They don't even know about what the county district budget is. They care about, how am I going to get to work? Why is the gas going up? If I can afford to pay next rent, where's the money coming from? Why do I have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs? Educators having to work 2 jobs, that's shameless. Why should we have to work 2 jobs? I think that we need to be able to go to Tallahassee and work for what we believe in that's going to be best for our communities. When I started this road, I started it a long time ago, a year ago. I started knocking on doors and talking to people, and their more concern is like, we're more than Disney. Osceola is more than Disney. I love Disney, but we're more than that. And that's not what keeps the bread and the food and the roof over our heads. It's not Disney. It's the hard work we put in. It's how we build up the economy, how we generate jobs, and how we provide a workforce, an upcoming workforce to do those jobs. Yeah, we have New York City, but who's going to do those jobs? How do we educate our future in our county to take those jobs and have economic growth? And how do we support small businesses, minority businesses in providing those procurement opportunities for them to be successful here in Kissimmee. That's what I want to fight for when I go to Tallahassee.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, everyone. Before we wrap up, I want to recognize one person that has been to every forum that we have done, and that is Noel Ortiz, who's here with us tonight, City Commissioner for seat number 1. Thank you so much. La prensa showed up, so thank you, Roxana. Once again, I'm going to look at the camera and I'm going to tell everybody in here, to them, and whoever is watching, your vote is your voice. Get it serious, take it serious, educate yourself on all of the candidates. If you don't know how, write us in Alianza for Progress, and we will teach you how to find information on the candidates for your district. Next week, we have District Orange County Commission 3, that is going to be in August 1st. August 8th, we have District 10. And August 15th, we have District number 9. So this is going every single week. I thank you so much for being here, for showing up. Those who didn't make it were excused, except one that didn't show up, and we don't know why, but you guys heard from the people here. So please take it home, watch it again, go to our YouTube channel. You can watch it again, share it, fact check. I encourage you to watch it and answer some of the comments that are there for engagement, so people know that you guys really care. And thank you so much. And on behalf of Alianza and our team, Henry, John, Carol, Oriana, Jose, our deputy chief, where are you? Back there. Diana, who got in touch with Jacqueline and with Mariangi, who have green nail polish. Is like is that a seasonal color, green? No,
Yes.
women that didn't get that memo. So thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you in any other of our forums. And thank you for supporting Alianza. And I forgot one person that has been looking at me all night. Like, I gave you the opportunity. I'm gonna say how I did now, Mr. Marcos Vilar, our boss. Thank you so much.
Bueno, ya que me nombraste, quiero darle gracias a los candidatos que están aquí al frente. I want to thank the candidates that came out tonight. Throughout, we've been doing this for 6 years, and even through COVID, we did them online. So now we're doing both online and live. But we become friends of each and every one of you. Those of you that are here is the truth, right? We are part of your community. You are part of our community, right? And so we are really grateful and thankful. It's the same thing, that you all are all here tonight and that you came and shared your differences and the things that you also all agree on. Gracias a todos ustedes. Thank you for everyone who's in the audience for coming out tonight. Those who are online, thank you as well. This is a very important thing, and I think that we're living in our country a really tough moment where politics is like bombastic and mean and cruel and sometimes even nasty. And as a Hispanic, as a Latino, I feel super proud that we can sit on a table with different opinions in different parties. Gracias a todos, gracias a ustedes. Esto es el ejemplo que nosotros damos como hispanos a nuestra comunidad y al mundo y al país.
Y una cosita final, y no se olviden de raise your voice, ¿ok?